Netanyahu boasts publicly and repeatedly that he played a key role in preventing the independence of the Palestinian state and peace in our region, and pledges to continue doing so.
The Middle East is suffering from a cancer, and up until today, the Security Council has only ever discussed providing aspirin. Cancer, Mr. President, is not treated with aspirin.
There are only two paths ahead. One that starts with Palestinian freedom and leads to shared peace and security in our region, or one that continues denying this freedom and dooms our region to further bloodshed and endless conflict. The Arab world has been unequivocal in choosing the first path, the one that enjoys support by the international community as a whole. Meanwhile, Netanyahu boasts publicly and repeatedly that he played a key role in preventing the independence of the Palestinian state and peace in our region, and pledges to continue doing so. Israel should no longer entertain the illusion that there is somehow a third path whereby it can choose continued occupation and colonialism and apartheid and somehow still achieve regional peace and security. This is not a viable path nor a legitimate path. Our people are not less deserving of freedom, security, and peace. Our children's lives are not less sacred. Our cause is just, and resilience and the resilience and steadfastness of our people, their sumud, is epic and worthy of the international solidarity they have received from across the globe. But as Mahmoud Darwish has said, their hope is for a normal life where they are neither heroes nor victims, a life where they are able to live, to thrive, to see their children grow, see them be and come whatever they wish to be. They should not have to fight every day for their survival, for their most basic and most fundamental rights, for their simple dream to live in freedom and dignity on their ancestor land. The Nakba should not be prolonged any further, nor repeated time and time again. It must come to an immediate end. It is time for international law and UN resolutions to be respected fully and for non-compliance to be penalized. It is time for accountability. Justice is paramount. It is the foundation of any sustainable peace. Attempts to frame the pursuit of justice as somehow contradictory to peace must cease. It is time to convene an international peace conference with a clear objective: upholding international law and implementing UN resolutions through resolute action by all states, organizations, and the UN. It is time for recognizing the admission of the State of Palestine to the UN. We were not granted a veto right over Israel's admission to the United Nations 75 years ago. Israel does not have a veto right over the admission of the State of Palestine 75 years later. The international consensus on two states in this land must be upheld in word and deed. There can be no more pretext for endless delay and obstruction. The disregard for Palestinian life, for international law, for the regional and international will to bring about just and lasting peace should no longer be tolerated. We are running out of time. There are two choices: spreading fire or a ceasefire. The alternative to freedom, justice, and peace is what is happening now. We must make sure it stops now, and we must make sure it never happens again. Never again.
Mr. President, at the outset, I wish to thank France and to congratulate you on your recent appointment and wish you the best in your crucial position. Today, you have a historic opportunity to shift the focus of this Council to the real and grave security threats. The Middle East is suffering from a cancer, and up until today, the Security Council has only ever discussed providing aspirin. Cancer, Mr. President, is not treated with aspirin. The time has come for this council to address and eliminate the root of this cancer, and not only its side effects. Distinguished council members and colleagues, we live in a backwards world. 18 years ago, Israel fully withdrew from Gaza in hopes to build trust with the Palestinians and chart a path towards a joint future. Instead, the Palestinians voted in the Hamas terror organization, and since then, under the UN's nose and its agencies, Hamas has exploited international aid and turned Gaza into the war machine that it is. Hamas dug hundreds of miles of terror tunnels and manufactured tens of thousands of rockets. Hamas did not hide its genocidal goals of annihilating Israel. The world knew this, the UN knew this. On October 7th, Hamas's agenda of Jewish genocide became a reality. My people were deliberately butchered. 1,200 murdered in a single day. 240 children, men, women, and the elderly taken hostage. This act of sheer evil was proportionally 20 times bigger than 9/11, 20 times. And Hamas leadership have publicly sworn to commit such massacre again and again and again until Israel is destroyed. Yet, shockingly, many here on the Security Council are advocating for a permanent ceasefire, while giving no thought to the implications. What do you think will happen if there is a ceasefire? I will tell you what will happen. Hamas will remain in power, they will regroup and rearm, and soon Israelis will face another attempted Holocaust. Is this the outcome you seek for all of us? That once again Israel will be forced to carry out another defensive operation in Gaza? Do you truly expect us to leave our hostages in Hamas terror tunnels? As long as Hamas remains in power, a very dark future is inevitable for all of us. How can you call for a ceasefire and mention a solution to the conflict at the same time? This is a complete oxymoron. You cannot have both. It's impossible. Hamas seeks to annihilate Israel, and if you support a position that will leave Hamas in power, you cannot pretend to wish for a solution to the conflict. The past 18 years have proven this. But dear friends, there is a formula that can end the bloodshed. And if the Council stands united behind it, then it will materialize. Should Hamas turn in those responsible for October 7th, and should Hamas release all the hostages, this war would be over immediately. This is not a war that Israel chose, but we will defend our future just as each of you would defend the future of your country. Colleagues, today's meeting demonstrates the pinnacle of the UN's absurdity. Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad are vile terrorists, but these forces of terror are a mere symptom of the true security threat in the region and beyond. There is a regime responsible for sponsoring 90% of Hamas's terror budget, as well as arming them and training them. This is the same regime that supplies Hezbollah with precision missiles and provides the Houthis with ballistic missiles. And all this is carried out in order to wreak havoc and instability in the Middle East. And soon, these acts of terror will be carried out under a nuclear umbrella. Yet, the Council basically ignores this enormous threat, the threat that is the Ayatollah regime of Iran. How absurd is it that the foreign minister of the #1 state sponsor of terrorism that aspires to destabilize the Middle East is here today to address the Council? Can you imagine Hitler's foreign minister participating in a serious discussion on how to defend the Jews during the Holocaust? This is an upside-down world. The representative of a regime that publicly calls for the annihilation of the State of Israel publicly is advising on how to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a truly upside-down world.
Stay with the Times of India for news breaks, analysis, interviews and events. We bring you stories from your neighborhood and from across the globe as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like button and press the bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos.